What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Anthony Simmons here with the show Higher Heights. If you're watching this channel, then you should know that Higher Heights is the only channel that stands for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. With that being said, I'm probably a little late on this topic that we're going to be discussing today, which is the Montgomery, Alabama River Brawl, or whatever you may deem it. We're going to be talking about this today. We're going to be breaking it down. We're going to be going into it, and you know I'm going to be giving my thoughts on it. Many of you have been voicing your thoughts, concerns, and comments all over the internet. I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it from both sides, the black side and the white side, and I'm going to be giving y'all my perspective on this incident. It's bigger than you think it is, and this show is for sure set to be a good show. Now, if you're new to the channel, let me let you know what you can do to the channel. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, because you definitely don't want to miss when I'm dropping content like this. Now, first of all, I already told y'all before that I know that I'm late on this instance, and a lot of people have gotten off their chest a lot of things that they feel. But it's my turn to do it, and I only speak when God gives me something to say about the incident. Now, with that being said, yeah, I'm a black man, so I seen this going on, and I heard the black people speak, and a lot of black people are very elated about what happened. They love the fact that they seen black people come to another black man's rescue. All the comments that I'm seeing on the internet have something to do with that coming from the black community. Actually, they're very upset if you have a black person that's saying, hey, look, why can't we all just get along? Why can't we all just love each other? Marlon Wayans, he was faced some backlash for one of his comments on the internet recently, where he was saying, hey, can we all just get along? A lot of people from the black community came at him saying, hey, look, you got to stand with the black people. We drawing a line in the sand here. This is finally one up for us. One up for the black community. And I get it. Look, I get it. I promise I do. Black people were oppressed in this country for 400 years plus. We went through slavery. I know that we still experience residual effects mentally, spiritually, as an effect of what we have suffered as a total group and a people. I don't want to ignore that fact at all when I speak on this premise today. When I speak on the fact of what happened with the Montgomery River Brawl, I don't want to minimize the damage that was done and caused by years of slavery and torment and torture. I don't want to do that in no kind of regards. And trust me, I stand on the side of righteousness. That's what side I stand on. I stand on the side of righteousness. So in this country, we got a history of racism. In this country, we have a history of discrimination. In this country, we have a history of entitlement by certain groups, by certain facets in this country that needs to be done away with. No doubt, needs to be done away with. But what I will say when I see this incident that happened is there's a bigger picture going on. This channel is for nothing but believers. If you don't believe in God, if your faith isn't in God and his son, Jesus Christ, this channel ain't for you. I'm going to just let y'all know that right now. This channel ain't for you. If you don't want to talk about faith, if you don't want to talk about God, if you ain't keeping the old remnants of what God says we should be in the order of God, you ain't going to want to hear what I got to say on this subject. So I don't need black people in my comments saying that I don't support black people or I'm not with black people. No, I'm on the side of righteousness, and what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. In this world, we've gotten away from what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, because what's right, what once was right, is now wrong, and what was once wrong is now right. And if you can't see that, then you're gonna be like in the end in Revelations, what Revelation said, in the end you need to stay woke, because two men will be working in the field and one's gonna come up missing and one's gonna stay there. Yeah, if you don't read your Bible, you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. We are literally living out Revelations, y'all. So the media would have you to, they want to portray this. They want to boost this up. They want to put this all over every place. They want to show you this because guess what? The agenda is a race war. They want us out here fighting each other. And who am I talking about? Who wants us? Who is they? Everybody's always talking about they, the man. We're talking about the elite. We're talking about the people who wake up and work iniquity in this world. The people who have the elites of this world, the so-called enlightened ones, the evil devil worshipers, Satan worshipers, the ones who worship money, the ones who worship sex, the ones who worship every God but the one true living God are they, the powers that be. They are the ones who wake up every day seeing how they can control us through our minds, control us through our hearts, who push agendas and shove them down our throat. These are the they that I'm talking about, the workers of iniquity, the ones who have their fingers on the pulse of what we're force fed every day. Have I watched the whole video? No, I've seen bits and pieces. I've seen clips because I like to watch what or put a limit on how much evil and negativity I intake, because in my Bible, God says, hey, meditate on my ways day and night. Because see, this is why, for this reason, we got a lot of people out here having heart attacks at an early age, leaving out of here with a stroke, stressed out over things that they can't control nor change. Because they're not guarding their hearts. They're not watching all of this negativity that they're taking in on a daily basis, and all the pressures of what used to be a normal society is now not the norm. All the pressures of seeing all this negativity and having to take it in stride and keep moving. I'm not taking all that negativity in, so I chose not to just search out the whole video. I don't even care about the whole video. The clips that I seen were good enough to understand and break down what I want to break down here on this show. Now, first of all, they're hailing one of these young black men as a hero. He's a young black man, jumped into the water, swam over there and everything. When I see a picture of this young black man, the problem I got with him, I don't even know what his sexual preference is or anything, but he's got the different color hair and all this stuff like this. And you say higher heights, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with this young man painting his hair any kind of color he wants? Because y'all, this is the bigger picture that I wanted to talk to y'all about. This world is increasingly going toward pushing the agenda of F God. Forget God. Excuse my language that I didn't even use, but some of y'all to say something about that. What I'm saying is they're saying ain't no God. We decide our own fates in this world. When if you've lived long enough, you realize one thing: you don't know when you gonna die. That's one thing no man can control, when they gonna die, how they gonna die. I don't care how good a shape you in. I don't care how many muscle ups you do, how much gym time you got, what you eat, what good habits you got. There's only one person in the universe that controls the day you die. So with that being said, we don't have no control over that, but when you got people that's going creating conflict with God, directly opposed to God and God's order, and that's what the world is pushing. So I see the bigger picture of what this brawl represents. It represents people at war with each other, black and whites at war with each other. And the people who are in control, remember that I talked about earlier, this is what they want. They want you at odds with each other. They want us going against each other. Just like they pushing this sexual agenda. I look this week and I see Wayne Brady, former TV host Wayne Brady, now wants some more attention. Now wants the gatekeepers to present him with another check to give him more fame. Coming out saying he's pansexual.
Jesus, who can turn your life around. Ooh, yeah.
You know, we got all these definition of different types of hypersexual people who want to come out and exclaim that they like all types of things. Wayne Brady comes out and say, hey, I like everything. I'm attracted to anything. I love all kind of things. Why, as a 40-some-year-old, 50-some-year-old man, is it important that you come out and say these things? See, I'm not worried about the statement as so much as to why. Why is it important that you come out and say these things? You know, it's not important to me, period, to come out and express my heterosexuality, let alone come out at a certain age and think that it's important enough that I express this to the world. Like I keep telling y'all, your sexual preference is nobody's business but your own.
And when I say it felt good, ooh, like the camel noodle soup, good, good. I'm not gay no more.
Who you choose to lie down with, what you're attracted to, has nothing to do with whether my light bill gets paid, whether there's gas in my car, food in my refrigerator. It has nothing to do with that. It doesn't affect me one bit, but it does affect the next generation in this agenda that you're trying to push, hypersexualizing these kids, over-sexualizing these kids, normalizing things that should not be normalized, that are against God's will and God's order. Another thing that I saw this week, when Neo came out making the comment saying that there's no way you're going to get him to think that it's normal, and we're going to normalize this agenda for y'all to say that we ought to agree with a young adolescent Young boy saying that I'm a young girl identifying as a girl. Young girl identifying as a young boy. Guess what? The reason this agenda is being pushed and you got more and more kids saying this now is because they're pushing this over your airways. They're pushing this over media. When you're a kid, we all have been kids before, and we make decisions and we have thoughts that we don't even understand ourselves because we don't even know who we are. We're not intelligent enough. We haven't come into our own to make decisions on our own. This is why we say that a child in this country ain't even grown until they're 21. And you're still under the leadership and the guidance of your parents. How I know that this is evil that's going on? You want to ask Higher Heights how I know it's evil? Because they say that you're a parent and you're responsible for this child until they're 21. You're responsible for their clothes. You're responsible for what they eat. You're responsible for them having a roof over their head. You're responsible for them getting an education. But when it comes to their sex, they need to be free to be able to make that decision. Now, they're not old enough to decide whether or not they want to smoke. They're not old enough to be able to get married. They're not old enough to be able to go fight in a war. They're not old enough to make any of these kind of decisions, but you want to push this agenda of sexuality onto these kids. Why? Because it's important that we continue to push this narrative of Satan's narrative to come into this. And guess what? It's got to happen. It's got to happen. See, on this channel, I don't want you to make no mistake about it that I think we can change anything, because there won't be any changing. So you asking me on my channel, if you ask me the question, what do you do about it, Higher Heights? How can we fix this? You're telling us the problem. You're saying all this is going on. There is no solution until Jesus come back. What I'm trying to do is make the believers alert and aware, because God says, I came to give you an expected end. When he warns us of these times, when God warns us of the signs of these times, it's not for us to be scared. It's not for us to be scared. I'm not trying to make you fear anything here on Higher Heights. I'm trying to make you aware. I'm trying to wake you up for real, where we got this culture, so-called culture, that says they want to be woke. That we're woke and we're enlightened and we got all this intelligence. See, the kind of wokeness that I'm talking to is being awake to the one true God. Being awake to his original design and plan for mankind. Being awake to the evil and seeing the signs and the times that we are living in, and not being fooled and bamboozled by this generation, this perverted and twisted and evil generation, this adulterous generation. Yeah, that's what God called them, an adulterous generation. What does that mean? See, we always think of adultery in just the regular normal marriage between a man and a woman, that they can commit adultery. What God says, we're married to him as believers. We're married to him and as his children. And anytime that we commit to these other worldly gods, anytime we pledge our allegiance to Satan, anytime we pledge our allegiance to any God but the one true God, we are committing adultery to God. So this nation, this Babylon, America, this world that we see that we're currently living in is actually an adulterous nation. And they played a very good trick that they continue to play on us, because this country, which was founded on Christian principles, this is why I don't call myself a Christian, because Christian is just another product. Being a Christian is a product. God never told me to call myself a Christian. He just said, believe in the Son. He who believes in the Son. Come on. So I don't subscribe to being a Christian, because this country was founded on Christian principles. And see how quickly they strayed away, because being a Christian is just like being part of the Coca-Cola brand, part of the Pepsi brand. It's a brand, being a Christian. And anytime you have a brand, that brand is a company. It's a product, and it's going to protect its brand. I'm not a part of a brand. I'm part of God. I stand on the side of righteousness. And you say, man, you've went a total 360 and coming all the way back talking about this Alabama, this Montgomery riverboat brawl, because it's a bigger picture at play here. It's a bigger picture at play. If you don't believe your sons and daughters are in danger, pedophilia is the next thing up on deck to become normalized. And I've said this years ago. Pedophilia is the next thing up on deck to become normalized. I'm hearing where they're saying you can't call them that word anymore. You have to call them minor lovers or something like that, because this world is increasingly becoming that world where you do anything that you want to. I told y'all months ago, I believe it was last year sometime, when Dwayne Wade came out in support of his son. He was the gatekeeper. He was the influencer. He was the one to kick in the doors to make it normal for all of these things going on in terms of kids and being supportive of kids being able to say that they're the next gender or the opposite gender than what God designed them to be, what God assigned them to be. Before I end this podcast, I think it's important that you guys understand this. I think it's important that you guys really understand this. We're fighting a war here, people, but it's not against flesh. It's a spiritual war. You better be ready. You better be ready. Because I told y'all, when the epidemic came, when COVID came, they wiped away all the generations of old mindset, the old mindset, the older OGs that knew what wrong was wrong and right was right. They got to get rid of all of them. Because they want young, influenceable, impressionable people. This generation that feels like we ought to be able to do what we want to do, live how you want to live. They want that generation, because that's the generation that's laying the foundation for Satan and the Antichrist. I was telling somebody this the other day, and if you could follow me real quick before I go, Satan tries to emulate or copy everything God does. God had a son, Satan's gonna have a seed. Satan says in the Bible, I'm gonna ascend my throne above yours in heaven. That's his goal. That's where the jealousy came in his heart. This is why he was put out of heaven. He plans to carry out his plans just like that. Just like people were waiting on Christ to be born, people are waiting and laying the foundation for the Antichrist to be born. How are they laying the foundation, Higher Heights? The spirit of the Antichrist is already in the air. Anytime we are now saying that we're going to take possessions of our own body and say, God, yes, you made me a man, but I'm going to be a woman, that is the spirit of the Antichrist. It's against God's order. I'm a woman, but I want to be a man. That is the spirit of the Antichrist. I'm a grown, fully grown adult, but I'm going to sexually abuse and molest a child. That's the spirit of the Antichrist. Black people at war with whites, that's the spirit of the Antichrist. So, yes, there's a part of me, an unlearned and ignorant part of me, that like to see what I saw with the Montgomery River Brawl. But there's a spiritual part of me that has to stand on the side of righteousness, and I'm not going to give play into what Satan wants us to do and to encourage this kind of behavior. Because when we begin to live in that kind of world, because it's coming that way, my children's children are going to be around to see the culmination of what's happening here. There's going to be a physical embodiment of Satan, a physical embodiment of the Antichrist that's going to walk this earth, and they're going to make one unification. Everybody's going to have to be on the same playing field. Wake up, people. I could do a part 2 to this. I can go deeper. But these are my thoughts on that Montgomery River Brawl. I need you to tell me right now. Y'all put it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about what I said today here on Higher Heights. Do you think it was justified what the black people did? I've heard some of y'all's comments on that already. Do you think that what you seeing in the media and how they're magnifying this incident is coincidental, or do you think there's a bigger picture at play? I want to hear about all your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Don't be scared. Let me have it. Let me hear about it. Come at me. Challenge me. If you haven't done it already, I need you to support your boy. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and please hit the notification bell.